Hey, bonjour, good afternoon there, Chippewas of Kettle and Stony Point members and Eagle 107.7 radio listeners. Today is Friday, April 24th, 2020, and this is my update in regards to COVID-19. There are currently 164 cases of COVID-19 in Lambton County. 66 people have recovered, and there's 14 deaths. There still stands two institutional outbreaks. One came out of the outbreak and one went back in, so that means that there's two, where it would have been three, but one was lifted up there recently. I just want to talk to the stats about that a little bit, about the where the population is and where the cases are at. So the majority of the cases are coming from larger urban centers, and Lambton County, that's the stats as well. 80%. Approximately 80% of the cases are in the larger urban center, and very little, are 20%, out in rural Lambton County. So that means that this is primarily being spread within the city of Sarnia, Point Edward, and any of those adjoining communities that are right close to the larger population density. So what that means for us out here in Kettle and Stony Point is it's important to do our sourcing for our groceries and supplies locally here on the First Nation, rely on our distribution center, rely on the Points Preference, or keep it close to home in those smaller rural places to get food and supplies, rather than flocking to the big city where the higher population density is. The other thing to note is that the cases are split pretty well 50-50 between men and women. So that's good to know as well. It's not picking one gender over the other. And a number of the cases now, actually, I think only 4 of the cases are due to travel, and the majority of those cases are all local community transmission. So it's being spread person to person locally. So if you're out sharing rides with people, if you're out meeting up with people and be in close proximity, that means that there's a high probability that you could be, spreading the virus around. So that's why these physical distancing recommendations are in place, and why the non-essential travel and that is being cut off in Ontario and in our community as well. So we're asking you to stay home and stay safe. Symptoms have changed a bit. They're increasing testing. We are working on getting that testing center here in the First Nation. I wouldn't be surprised if it's up and operational by the end of next week. So let's look forward to that. And I hear that next week they're going to start delivering the food for the dirt for the gardens out in the community. And in regards to myself, I was tested on Wednesday for a couple of viruses. I haven't heard results back from that blood work. I also went in for the COVID-19 swab, and I can say that it's not a very pleasant test. It was kind of felt like when you fall into the water or jump into the water and water shoots up your nose, and it kind of burns and stings. And eventually it began to sting quite a bit, made my eyes water. My wife says I was crying. I could have been crying. That could have happened. And there was quite a bit of blood that actually came out of my nose, my mouth following the testing. So not very pleasant, but important to get tested if you have symptoms. And certainly the Indigenous people are on that higher risk population. Basically, if you say you have any symptoms and you're Indigenous, they are going to test you because we are a vulnerable population. So I haven't heard any results back yet. We know that positive results are coming back in 24 to 48 hours, and that negative test results take 3 to 5 days. So that's my check-in for today. Still kind of got some phlegm going on, and I'll keep you up to date as my own personal health and community updates in regards to COVID-19. So you won't hear from me until Monday. I hope everybody has a nice weekend, and don't panic, eat Bannock.